Number 2, answer. We have this symbol right here, which is called a radical. This is like a square root. You've probably seen it before, but you might not be very familiar with it. So I want to do some examples over here. I want to do the square root of 1, the square root of 4, the square root of 9, the square root of 16, the square root of 25, and one more, we'll do the square root of 36. Okay, now the square root of 1, in order to answer this is an inverse. This is like the opposite operation of exponents. So if you have an exponent, the opposite of an exponent, the inverse of an exponent is a radical. It's a root, okay? It's one of these things. It's where we undo 3 to the second power. 3 to the second power is 9, so then the square root of 9, well, that is 3. Okay, it's where it's the reverse of this exponent of 2. Okay, so the square root of 9 was 3. So if I look at this 1, well, what times itself equals 1? In this case, it's going to be 1. I know that 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times 4 is 16. 5 times 5 is 25. And 6 times 6 is 36. But we should also recognize that negative 6 times negative 6 also equals 36. And negative 5 times negative 5 equals 25. So I'm going to put this little plus minus in front of all of these because this can be a positive or a negative number. See that? Plus minus, and then plus minus, because it can be positive or negative 1. It can be positive or negative 2. All right. Now, when we put this little 3 up here, well, that would just be, instead of this being a 2, it's going to be 2 to the third. So let's do that example. 3 to the third power equals 3 times 3 times 3. This here is 9. So 9 times 3 equals 27. All right. So then I could say, well, the third root of 27 is therefore 3, because I know 3 times 3 times 3 is 27. But let's see, what would negative 3 times negative 3 times negative 3 be? Well, negative 3 times negative 3 is positive 9 times negative 3 takes us to negative 27. Okay, so if I'm doing the third root, and my base number here is negative, well, I know my answer has to be negative, because negative times negative times negative makes negative. All right. Over here, when we only had 2 of them, well, those cancel off. But if we have a third one, only the first 2 cancel off here, and our third one remains on our product here. So the third root of 8, we want to know what times what equals negative 8. Well, we know it's not 3, because we just checked that. That's going to be 27. So let's check 2. 2 times 2 times 2. And I'm going to make these negative, because I remember I got to make them negative. 2 times 2 is 4. And if they're both negative, that's the opposite of the opposite, which means it's going to be positive. And then I'm going to do times negative 2 at the end. I know 4 times 2 is 8, but the opposite of 4 times 2 is negative 8. So the answer here is negative 2. Third roots are kind of tricky, especially if we, really, like, the only way to do these is almost guess and check. Okay, it's only, like, you got to know what's going to be close. Like, I know the third root of 1 equals 1. I know the third root of 8 equals 2. I know the third root of 27 equals 3. And these grow really fast, because we could do 4 times 4 times 4. This is 16 times 4 is 64. So the third root of 64 is 4. You notice how these are growing way faster than these did over here. It's called exponential growth, and it's growing a lot faster. When we get up to the fourth root, these are going to have to be really, really, really big numbers. Like this one would be 256, I think. Just really, really big numbers. So this would be -2, because -2 times -2 times -2 does equal -8. And it does have to be negative. It's not like these where it could be positive or negative. If that base number is negative, it's got to be negative with an odd number up here.